What's up, fam? I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. You're on my show every single Tuesday. I do right here for you, called the Iron Palace, where we talk about everything training, everything how to get results, no matter your goal, through your training. All right. Today we're gonna dive into progress and how progress actually works in the beginning phase versus later phases, and years down the line, what you can really expect to see as you continue to train for goals. Do me a favor, real quick, before we get into this, though. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. It's one of 5 awesome shows I run all week for you, and then share out the video if you get anything out of it, because other people can benefit too. I'm Milton from TeamFFLEX. This is the Iron Palace. After working with thousands and thousands of people over the years, you guys, I can tell you some stuff about progress, okay? And I know everybody's got their own goal, their own specific thing. Maybe it's fat loss, maybe it's muscle building, maybe you want to compete, maybe you want to, do some type of sport and you need to train for that. The thing is, though, no matter what goal you got, there's going to be these phases that kind of happens. And I've seen it with pretty much everyone I've ever worked with. And, a lot of my clients ask me about it too sometimes. So I figured, what, today is a good idea to bring this up. It's a good way for me to kind of clear some ground for you, give you some thoughts, some things to think about as you train along your journey, all right? First thing I want you all to understand out there is when you pursue any new goal, okay, for those of you that may or may not be working out hard right now, maybe you're not training for a specific goal, maybe you need to start your kind of fitness journey or something like that, or you're starting from, oh, I train in the gym, but now I want to be a competitor, something like that, there's going to be a phase called the beginner gains, okay? And this is kind of an internet term, but it does actually prove the kind of exact thing that we're talking about, beginner gains, meaning that when you really start a new goal, when you flip the switch, you turn the lights on, you go from, the guy that says, I gotta lose 50 pounds, but I've been watching too much Netflix and eating a lot of bad foods and I'm not doing any workouts, to being the guy now who's paying attention to his diet, trying to, track his macros, and he's doing workouts, he's being more active, staying away from some of the other bad habits. Well, you're gonna get results very, very quickly, right? Because you've gone from 0 to basically 60 in a short period of time, and therefore you're gonna get results, okay? So you all of a sudden, you're losing 5 pounds, you're losing 10 pounds, you're losing 15 pounds over a very short span of time, and then you kind of get in your head almost that that's a normal thing. The same kind of thing will happen to people that are trying to build muscle, or somebody that's going from average everyday gym goer to now I want to be a bikini competitor, I want to be a men's physique competitor. When you start a new goal and you really drive with a finite focus at it, and you're on top of your nutrition, you're on top of your training, and you have a dedicated goal, well, the results, they come quickly, okay? And you get in this mode where you're like, oh, I'm building so much muscle, I'm feeling so good, and I'm getting stronger, I'm doing this, and then that, and boom. And eventually the beginner gains phase ends, okay? And the problem with this is that people in their mind, they think the beginner gains, the way they got results, at that speed and at that, potential, is gonna continue on forever, but it really doesn't. After you get over this hump of beginner gains, and this can last anywhere from, 3 to 12 to 18 months, where you're gonna be making crazy progress, especially depending on where you were. Almost the worse off you started, the more beginner gains you're going to have for a longer period of time, because basically you're coming to a actual threshold where your body becomes in a place of homeostasis, okay? A place where it wants to be. And this happens to everybody as they go through their fitness journey. You get to a spot where everything kind of slows down, right? You were piling on strength, getting stronger and stronger, and now you can't add 5 pounds to that damn bar because you just can't get any stronger right then, right? It's not an overnight thing, in other words, like it had felt before. And same goes with fat loss. You eventually get to a point where, you're losing fat, you're losing fat, you're losing fat. Now it's a lot harder to do that, okay? Same things happen to competitors and all that. They get a competition physique, they improve it, they come back, and, the improvements are minimal. And this is totally normal. And again, I want people to understand that that's not a bad thing. You know, the more that you train, the more you're dedicated to the fitness lifestyle, the slower the results will come after you've already reached a threshold where you're quote unquote fit, right? Once you get to a point where your body's in a good pattern, you know, in a good holding space, you've made it through that beginner gains phase, well, now you're going to be into a phase where improvements, you can absolutely still make them, but they're not coming nearly as fast. And the problem is a lot of clients, you know, that I've worked with over the years, they get in their head like, hey, I was losing so much body fat in the beginning, I was building so much muscle so fast back here, but now it doesn't seem like it. I'm at a plateau, I'm stuck, I'm doing the wrong thing. No, ladies and gents, you're not doing anything wrong. What it is the fact that, again, you made it through this beginner phase and now you're into a phase where improvements become harder and harder. Note that I just said, the guy that's got to get off the couch, he's going to get results very quick because he's getting off the damn couch. The guy that's been training in the gym 6 days, doing his workouts, doing his macros, working on his sleep, you know, supplementing where he needs to and doing all that for a long period of time is already doing really, really good. So to do better and better, it requires even more and more, and that means the results, they just don't come as fast. Now, this is not a bad thing. This is a normal thing. This is what happens to everybody, and eventually you're going to be in this spot for a while, and you need to be prepared mentally to understand it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean you need to do more. It doesn't mean you need to diet harder or add more cardio or do anything, you know, this way. It means, guess what? You got to keep being consistent, ladies and gents. This is the recipe for life, all right? And I like to kind of bring in, you know, different analogies for this stuff because I've seen it so many times with clients over the years where they're training here, they're training here, they're training here, and the results, they're just different. They're going to be different. Your body is constantly adapting as you age, as things change in your life, you know, your work circumstances. It's amazing to me that people always look at their training and their nutrition and they think that's the entire recipe to get results. It's really not. When we talk about getting results, we're talking about living a lifestyle. We're talking about, oh, you got to train. Yes, you got to eat. Yeah, you got to follow your nutrition. Yeah, you need to recover. You need to also pay attention to the other things you never even consider part of your actual fitness goals, like your work stress and your work environment and how long you have in the gym and all these different things, you know, that are going on in your life that totally change your ability to get results. People never think about this stuff, but it really does make a lot of difference. So the longer that you stay consistent, the more that you're going to see that the consistency still changes your results, okay? And what I mean by that is you can still be doing all these things. You could go back to some approach you did before and it doesn't work the same way because your body is not running that same way anymore. And this happens all the time. And so what you got to do, and the way you overcome all this and you keep getting results all the time, is you understand the consistency is everything. Consistency, it's king, it's queen, it's going to get you where you want to be. You got to stay consistent and you got to keep going. You got to live the lifestyle, in other words, right? Ladies and gents, this is something I say all the time, but it almost falls on deaf ears a lot because people expect, you know, the fastest approach, the best. Hey, there comes a point when you're doing things right for so long that all you need to do is keep doing the right things to keep going further. There's no faster approach. There's no way to get back to a beginner gains. The only way to do that is to undo progress, right? If you fall off the wagon for 3-6 months and you gain a bunch of weight, you do all this, you quit working out, you do all that, well, great, you're going to go back through the beginner gains phase. You get to go into the spot where you get to do it again. But it's only to catch up to get where you were. So you might as well just stay consistent and on track and keep working for where you're at so that you can keep moving forward with your results. As we just noted, the more out of shape you are to start, the better beginner gains you're going to get because you're basically going from 0 to 60, right? What about the people that are already in a good zone in general and they want to move up to a new goal, right? For example, people that are going to the gym and now they decide they want to compete, whatever. The more intense of a goal you have, the more hardcore, in other words, your goal is, you know, you want to go be on a bodybuilding stage, you want to break some records at a powerlifting meet or do something like that, the slower your progress is going to be. Because the bigger you set a goal, the more hard work you actually have to do to attain it. And that means more hard work done over a longer period of time to achieve incredible results. You guys won't find any athletes in the world that have done amazing things, that have broke records, or, you know, great bodybuilders that win all their shows, or competitors in general, anything like that, that have not been doing this shit for years and years, right? That's literally what it takes. It takes consistency and it takes time. And you need to continue to do those things over and over. Be consistent for a longer period of time. And so you go from the point where maybe you had beginner gains to start, you got leveled off in this middle ground, and now you want to take it to a new goal. It's never going to come overnight, okay? Anybody that's ever tried to, you know, let's say deadlift 500 pounds, you know, you're going to be at 495 for months before you even get to 500. And anyone that's ever done it knows that's true. And this same thing goes with many lifts and all that. Once you get out of the beginner phase, you know, it becomes challenging to do these things. Same for competitors. If you look at the top bodybuilders, go look at the Mr. Olympias, okay? And you go look at them, go look at like Ronnie Coleman, for example, or somebody like that. You look at their span of time, Jay Cutler, even any of these guys, you will see minute changes year to year as they competed in Olympia. You will see very little changes, very, very little. You wouldn't even recognize. Most normal people wouldn't even notice. Most people that compete wouldn't even notice the differences. The judges do, and the competitors do, but they're very, very minuscule. And let me tell you, these are the top of the industry athletes in the sport of bodybuilding that are going 365 over and over and over for that one competition a year. And if they're doing that 100%, better than 99% of you could, even if you wanted to, because these guys back then, you know, in current bodybuilders too, they live that lifestyle. They don't really have secondary jobs. Their only job is to be a bodybuilder. Well, if they make minute little changes with all the things going on, you can expect that, hey, guess what? That means they're in the most advanced phase of actual, you know, holding the gauge for progress. And that's also why they are the Olympians. They're the top Olympians, right? You won't see huge changes, in other words, the more advanced you get, okay? So as you've been training for years and years, as you've been doing this and that, it becomes more and more work and more consistency and more time to, in other words, see the change. And that's not a bad thing. And it doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you need to change your approach, you need to do anything else. All you have to do, ladies and gentlemen, if you get in this spot, you got to just keep going, okay? Like I said, you won't see anyone at the top of any sport, bodybuilding or anything else, or anybody has achieved great results without that factor, especially people even in just a lifestyle circumstance. You know, somebody that lost 100 pounds or 120 pounds or 150 pounds or whatever. The reason that they stayed the way they are is because they adapted a new lifestyle and they continue to live it. And guess what? They're not losing 100 pounds, you know, over and over every year. They get to a spot where now they're focusing on losing just that one, or maybe it's building this now and they want to do that. What you got to understand about results is they are not in a standard format of, okay, if I just change my approach, if I just change my coach, if I try a new nutrition plan, if I do this and that, maybe it's new train. No, it's consistency, it's time, it's living the lifestyle and staying dedicated. And this is something I want to wake you all up to, because a lot of people talking a lot of, you know, garbage, honestly. There's a lot of gurus out there and a lot of people trying to sell you on ebooks and quick fixes for things that you can't quickly fix. What you need to fix is your mindset and the way you think about results and the way you think about training. You're going to have a phase of beginner gains. You're going to have some middle ground there. And when you advance your goals, the more advanced your goals get, the more difficult it becomes to see the progress. And that is what we do in this fitness world, fam. And there's nothing wrong with it. There's no reason to change a damn thing. Keep doing what makes you the best and keep going so you can actually be the best, all right? I hope you guys got something out of this video today. Do me a favor, please subscribe to the channel, share it out. I'm Ryan Milton from TeamFFLEX. You've just watched The Iron Palace.